This is CBC's Edmonton office, manned by a security guard behind some kind of thick, transparent barrier. I need to get his attention so that he can hand me a blank form that I can fill out with my regular request to speak with someone. I say regular since this is my fifth attempt just to speak to someone. Twice a year I pedal up from Red Deer in my little clown car, otherwise known as a velomobile, to fill out the form. But why is the CBC office so inaccessible? I suspect it has something to do with Donald Trump and his assertion that the mainstream media is, quote, the enemy of the people, unquote. And since some of his followers like to solve problems with physical violence, I guess I would have to say that CBC Edmonton is fully justified in having an office that looks somewhat like a fortress. Okay, here I am returning with my form filled out. If you'd like to read what I've written on my various attempts to communicate with CBC Edmonton, just check out the links below. Okay, coming up here, I am transitioning into the town of Blackfalds. It's the first day of my most recent trip to Edmonton. Everything is a little bit less waterproof than I thought, so I'm feeling a bit like a drowned rat. And I'm slowly making my way over to the A&W for some piping hot tea and greasy french fries. So back to what I was talking about before. How to deal with a segment of society which likes to solve problems with physical violence. And how to deal with political leaders and political parties that thrive on conflict, which sometimes feeds that violence. It's something that I've been studying for more than 30 years now. And the answers to these questions are written on my little clown car here. First, deliberative democracy. Second, citizens' assemblies. Third, civic journalism. In many of my previous videos, I've talked about these three subjects, so I'll put a bunch more links down below, so please have a look. So you'd think that CBC Edmonton might register some degree of interest in what I'm doing. After all, the very first sentence in the very first letter I sent them back in 2023 stated, quote, I'm on a mission to reduce, oh, here we go, another transition. This is the fourth day of my most recent trip to Edmonton. This is between Millet and Leduc, and as you can see, it's a bit of a shit show. Very narrow shoulder, lots of traffic, and the rumble strips are not placed according to the specifications that Alberta Transportation itself specifies. So I have to crawl along at a snail's pace and do a lot of cursing. Where was I? Okay. The very first sentence in the very first letter I sent CBC back in 2023 states, quote, I'm on a mission to reduce political polarization in this country, unquote. And less political polarization means less political violence and fewer threats against journalists. So why would CBC be so unresponsive about these matters? Good question. I don't know. And on top of that, people do want to know just what the hell I'm doing. I can't count how many times I've been at busy intersections where someone is making a left turn with one hand on the steering wheel and the other hand is trying to video me with a cell phone. Or when I'm sitting in the velo right in front of the CBC office, filling out their forms, and I'm being besieged with questions from passers-by. Or how about the reaction of the young dude later on in this video? He is typical of those particular Gen Zs who happen to be A, not introverted, and B, not staring down at their damn cell phones all the time. So there is a human interest story here, just as there is an honest attempt at trying to reduce political violence. So again, why is CBC so unresponsive? I don't know. Okay. So coming up here is the young fellow and his reaction to the velo. It's kind of priceless, but not totally out of the realm of what I've experienced before. Have a listen.
You got the ride! Yo, that's the coolest car I've seen in my entire life. Yo, you have a great day, sir.
Here.
Yeah! Yo! Give me a car. Keep this for the rest of my life. Thank you.
You, no problem.
Okay, so this is just the high-level bridge in Edmonton. It's 112 years old, etc., etc. No pedestrians today, so I can motor along as fast as my 65-year-old legs will take me. And it's the last full day of the trip. But the weather forecast for later on was possible loony-sized hail and 100 kph winds. So when I got back to the campground, I dismantled the tent and parked the Velo. Or maybe now, instead of clown car, I can call it my cool car, under the eaves of the cook shed. Luckily though, the massive hail and the high winds didn't come to pass, so it was simply a case of relaxing with a few pages of James Joyce.